That's what nearly 800 horsepower sounds like. Sounds good. But how does this Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat Redeye Widebody drive on city streets? Well, obviously, let's go for a drive and find out. That'll really wake you up in the mornings. So under the hood of this Dodge Charger is a 6.2 liter supercharged V8, and it produces 797 horsepower and 707 pound-feet of torque. It sounds like this. Very, very intoxicating sound. At low RPMs you have the V8 grumble, and as the engine speed builds up, you have a loud roar coming out the back. In the front, of course, you have that supercharger whine. Here are some more exhaust clips and sounds of the Dodge Charger Hellcat. The problem with having nearly 800 horsepower in a street car is that when the roads are damp, like how they are right now, and when you have summer tires, like how this car is equipped, and it's the start of winter, so that the ambient temperatures are hovering just below 10 degrees Celsius, which is what they are right now, it's extremely difficult to put 800 horsepower down to the road. Every time you push the throttle, maybe 25–30%, the power just overwhelms these tires. It's too much for street use. The backhand just constantly goes like this. So it wants to go sideways and veer off into a ditch. Thankfully, you can have the engine produce only 500 horsepower. Yes, it is 300 horsepower less than the maximum that it can produce, but you can still have quite a bit of fun in a 500 horsepower car. Better yet, the engine's power comes in more gradually to the back wheel, so it's much more manageable, even on damp roads like how I am right now. The engine does have a few different drive modes. There is auto, custom, sport, and track. You can change a few different settings within each drive mode. So for example, the engine power output, the transmission shifting, whether the paddle shifters work or not, the traction control system, the stiffness of the suspension, and the effort of the steering. As for fuel economy, with this 6.2 liter supercharged V8, of course it's not going to be good. There is an eco mode, which is quite surprising to me, but doesn't really do much in terms of fuel economy. Officially, the Charger Hellcat Redeye is rated for 11.5 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway, and are you ready for it? 19 liters per 100 kilometers in a city. Thankfully, during my time with the car, I drove it mostly on highways and roads with few stoplights. As a result, my average fuel economy figure was a bit more reasonable at 16.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Because this car is rear-wheel drive only and not all-wheel drive, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour takes somewhere around the 3.5 second mark under ideal conditions. Obviously, today, with damp roads, summer tires, cold temperatures, I'm not going to hit anywhere near that. But to get the most potential out of this car, obviously you have to take it to a racetrack. Unfortunately, I do not have access to a racetrack, but my fellow Canadian automotive journalists, Throttle House, they did take this car to a racetrack and compare it against the BMW M5 CS. But if you do plan on using this car year-round, like I said, leave it in the 500 horsepower mode. You'll still have more than enough power for street use, and it is much more manageable. As for this transmission, for the most part, it is smooth at changing gears when you're in the street mode. When you're in track mode, then you will feel those shifts, but they are very, very quick. My only complaint about it though is, well, actually it's not the transmission, it's these paddle shifters. They're only about yay big, and they don't encompass the whole back end of the steering wheel. So it's just this upper part. The lower part are buttons for the volume and tuning of the radio. It's just a little annoyance. The Charger Hellcat uses 15.4-inch rotors on the front axle to provide the majority of the braking force. They are a two-piece design and get clamped down by 6-piston Brembo calipers. The rear axle uses 4-piston Brembo calipers. Brake pedal modulation is surprisingly easy for street use. The brakes don't feel too grabby when initially applying your foot on the brake pedal and can easily be controlled for a smooth stop. Around corners, the steering is sharp and direct, but somewhat devoid of feel and feedback. Changing it from the street mode to the track mode just made it artificially heavier, but it does feel like it has grip through the corners. The Hellcat Redeye benefits from the wide body treatment, with the front and rear tracks being 65.6 inches and 65.3 inches respectively. A standard Dodge Charger is 1.6 inches narrower than this wide body. One issue that I did notice when driving this car on city streets is that it really likes to follow the crown of the road. This could get tiring on longer trips. On city streets, the ride of the Charger SRT Hellcat Redeye Widebody is not too bad for the type of car that it is. Of course, I'm not saying that it's going to be a Mercedes-Benz E-Class ride quality, but for having 800 horsepower and really wide body, it's actually very compliant over bumps. If you do change the suspension settings to track mode, then it becomes very bouncy and very jarry. Your vision basically becomes this. As for noises, well, when you're driving on the highway and the engine is revving at around 1500 RPMs or so, it's primarily road noise from the tires that you're going to hear. It is loud, but at least you don't have to scream to your passengers for them to hear you. When you're on city streets, it's primarily the engine that you're going to hear when you accelerate from a stop. It does have a bit of resonance and droning to it at around 2000 RPMs, but below that or above that, all that you're going to hear is just a rumble out the back and the supercharger whine in the front. More so the supercharger whine, depending on how hard you push that throttle pedal. When you step inside the Dodge Charger Hellcat, you don't really get that sense that you're in an 800 horsepower car. I mean, the only thing that's really going to tell you that this car is really special is the little SRT Hellcat badge that's right here on the dashboard and the Hellcat embroidery on the seats. But other than that, it looks pretty much just like any other Dodge Charger. You do have a really nice suede covered steering wheel, and the seats are also half leather, half suede, so they really keep you in. These bolsters, they are not that tight, but they do keep you planted in the seats. Other than that, you have dual analog gauges with a digital center display. The speedometer gauge goes all the way up to 340 kilometers an hour. It's always nice to see. I don't think this car will go 340. I think the top speed is 203 miles an hour. At least that's what Dodge claims. In kilometers an hour, I believe that's about 325, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, beyond that, you also have an 8.4-inch infotainment touchscreen. This is Uconnect 4 infotainment, not Uconnect 5. Still works just fine, but it's not quite as fast and the graphics don't look as nice as the new Uconnect 5 system. Built into the system are the SRT and performance pages. These allow for adjustments to the powertrain, the launch control system, turning on or off line lock, and can display vehicle statistics such as engine parameters, as well as quarter mile times, 0 to 100 km/h times, or 0 to 60 times, as well as your lap times, among many other things. In terms of the materials inside the cabin, it is very typical Dodge. So, like I said earlier, the suede is really nice, as well as the leather. It's nice and soft. You also get a little bit of suede on the door panels and of course on the steering wheel. But the other materials are soft and hard plastics, like up on the dashboard. It does have some stitching on it, so it's looks a little bit more premium, but it's still just soft plastic, and of course hard plastics towards the lower portions of the cabin. Not really what you'd want in a $105,000 car like how this vehicle starts at, but hey, it is a Dodge after all. In terms of space though, there is plenty of it up here for my 6'4" height. Legroom, not a problem. Headroom, not a problem whatsoever. So with that, let's go check out the back. On paper, the Dodge Charger has more rear legroom than its European counterparts, so the BMW M5 and the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. However, sitting behind my driving position, my knees are touching up against the back of the front seat, but I am above average in height, so average size adults shouldn't have a problem here. Headroom though is an issue. As you can see, I'm slouching a bit. If I stand up straight, my head is right up against the back window. But apart from that, you get the same leather and suede as you get in the front. You do get heated seats on the outboards, a couple of USB ports, and that's about it in the back. Behind the seat, the Dodge Charger Hellcat Redeye has 467 liters of cargo space. The rear seats can fold down for more cargo capacity. Although the base V6 Dodge Charger starts at a reasonable $39,765 Canadian, this Charger Hellcat Redeye is a lot more expensive. It starts at $105,515 Canadian. Pack on the options and the price climbs closer to $125,000 Canadian. Expensive for a Dodge Charger, but quite a lot less than the German rivals. For your money, you'll get satellite navigation, heated and ventilated front seats, heated steering wheel, heated rear seats, blind spot sensors, backup camera, parking sensors, automatic climate control, remote start, and that's about it really. It's not available with more premium features like surround view cameras, head-up display, wireless phone charging, or even advanced driver and safety aids such as automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, and lane keep. So what are my thoughts on this SRT Hellcat? Well, it's a loud, obnoxious, not very practical way to get around on city streets, and definitely not fuel efficient. But it will always put a smile on your face, it'll always get your heart beating, and it is just a giant middle finger to the environment and to government regulations. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of gasoline-powered Hellcats. Come 2024, Dodge announced that they're going to be making e-muscle cars, electric muscle cars. And while I'm sure it'll go just as fast as this, or maybe even faster than this, it's not going to have the same charisma and character and really loud exhaust that this Hellcat has. So get them while you still can. Anyway, if you want to know more about this Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat Redeye Widebody, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description, or click the pop-up banner up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or hopefully it'll be an SRT powered SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.